Welcome to the commentary booth, where we watch and you guessed it, commentate on the week that was in movies and TV. I'm your host and play-by-play commentator, Jamie Upps, and each week I'm joined by a rotating cast of color commentators to help you find your next viewing treat. This week I'm joined by a freelance social commentator who lists their favorite movie as American Psycho and favorite TV show as Peaky Blinders. Welcome back to the show, Blake Robinson.
Hey, I'm back.
How's life treating you? So you're out at the cafe, obviously.
Yeah, I just ducked out. Yeah, full flight again. It's good to see.
Went to the races on the weekend. Was that this
Went
weekend?
to the races on the weekend for the third time in 3 weeks, which is good. Making up for lost time. Finally.
Shit.
Packed
That's a lot of
too.
racing.
There's people out everywhere. No matter where you go,
Yeah.
there's people out. It's good.
Yeah, it does look like things are just, anytime there's an opportunity for people to get out, they're like, yep, let's just go. Who cares what it is? We're going.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's good to see. Good to see people out. But yeah, loving it.
Did you get any wins?
Yeah, I did actually have several wins, you could say, which is also, you could say, making up for lost time, because Melbourne Cup wasn't too kind to me that week. So it's always good to get one back. It's always good to get a couple back up on the bookies.
Just recuperating losses from that week.
Yeah, you could say that.
That's not too bad.
How's
What have
new
you
house?
been? Yeah, it's good. Now that everything's sort of settled in and the internet's all up and running. And
You practically
it's
live in
nice and
Mexico.
quiet. Pretty much.
So,
But like,
just north
now
of
that
the
that
border,
bypass
Nowra.
is finished,
Yeah.
now that the bypass and everything's finished, it's good. Like, get to Sydney with no stopping, basically. So take that.
Yeah, it's good.
Don't have to deal with Albion Park Rail and 8 million sets of traffic lights for no reason.
That is it. Yeah, I know. I'll never go down that way.
I am missing Taco Bell though.
Taco Bell, another play of, I should actually have it tonight. I'm at Crossroads with dinner already. Taco Bell could be a play. Do they have like the Mountain Dew Berry Blast though, like the frozen Mountain Dew? So that's the reason you go to Taco
Pretty sure
Bell.
they do. I'm pretty sure they do.
That's cute. Might get down there. I got her.
So what have you sort of been checking out the last few weeks?
Well, back with a bang is Tiger King 2. How good? I just finished that. I wasn't sure what to expect, but it was so good. I reckon it was a perfect little follow-up. It did everything justice. They did so much. The research they did, like the people they tracked down for interviews, is mind-blowing.
Oh, they definitely put effort into the sort of documentary side of it, but I felt like I didn't enjoy it as much as season 1, simply because I felt like they were cramming so much into just 5 episodes.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I seen it was 5 episodes, and like, well, are we going to get a few more? Then, yeah, you can. They did, or at least they didn't they didn't rush it, so to speak, just for the sake of having something. I think they put out what they needed to, and we're probably going to get more.
Oh yeah, I imagine we'll get more. I just felt like they maybe should have stretched it out to like maybe 6 or 7 episodes, so it didn't cram so much into each episode. And
because it's sort of the first 2 or 3 episodes.
Then.
I think even the first 2 episodes or 3 were just their own sort of story and like bits and pieces, but then the rest of it was just focused on like that Tim Stark guy, hey, and like Jeff Lowe. Like there was sort of 3 episodes just on them, so they sort of stretched out those 2 characters heaps. And like there was definitely minimal Joe. I was a bit disappointed of how little Joe was in it. They sort of only had him in as the prison interviews, which was, I don't know, it was a bit weird.
Yeah, I guess they probably didn't have a lot of access to him, but like,
exactly.
It's 5 episodes. They probably could have, like, if they'd stretched it out to 6, maybe even 8, they could have done 2 episodes on like the Tiger King season 1 and the fallout from that. 2 episodes on Carol. 2 on
there wasn't really much
Tim Stark, and 2 on Jeff Lowe.
Like, was she in it at all, like fresh interview footage? I don't know.
No, she didn't do any. She didn't do any fresh interviews because apparently she wasn't very happy with season 1.
Yeah,
which is
But
fair.
it was, yeah.
Like, they made her look
Oh
like
yeah,
a
100%.
husband killer.
Wait, that was another thing. That was probably my favorite part of the whole Tiger King 2 was the tracking down the Don Lewis, her husband. That was pretty interesting. But what's your take? Everyone has their own sort of opinion what's happened, even though we don't know anything other than what we've just been shown. What do you reckon's happened to him?
If anything, season 2 definitely opens a lot more options, whereas season 1 it made it look pretty solid that she'd obviously murdered him.
Yeah.
But
So,
this one kind of opens up a whole heap of other options where maybe she didn't, maybe he did just run away and disappear.
Gabe, yeah, big Cluedo vibes. Like you sort of choose your own adventure. I changed my mind about 3 times while I was watching it, what happened to him, but I think I've settled on that he moved to Cambodia, got in trouble with, was it Cambodia? No, Costa Rica. Got in trouble with.
Yeah, those 2 episodes
I think you can,
on him, I think, were the best.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's pretty clear now. I think there's enough evidence to say that he ran off to Costa Rica on his own accord. But then whatever's happened to him down there, and that's another thing too. They said he's probably just changed his identity because he can do that easily enough down there. Because he's probably just living under a new alias or whatever. But yeah, I'm gonna settle with the cartels have killed him.
Yeah, like I was saying, I feel like season 2 just it didn't answer any of the questions that we had coming out of season 1. If anything, it just raised more questions and threw it more up in the air about everything.
Which I'm not mad about. I didn't hate it at all. It was good. It was a good follow up. I thought. I think they did it justice. But if you're looking for more action, and it's probably not it. This is more like investigative of what's happened to everyone.
Oh yeah, it's definitely not as like
almost a documentary about the documentary. Is that a fair way of putting it?
Yep. It's definitely not as crazy and wacky.
The original was more like a movie. Yeah, season 1 was like a movie essentially.
And they just kept getting crazier and crazier.
Shit you've ever seen. It's a weird world. Hey, like they're all the same, but they're all different.
Yeah,
those exotic.
Yeah, like
animal.
Season keepers. 1, you're like, oh yeah, they're crazy exotic animal keepers, and then next thing you're like, oh, he's gay. Oh, he's running for government. And you're like, what the heck is going on? And it just keeps getting crazier and crazier. And then this one was just like, okay, no, these are actual people, and these are like actual facts and things that have happened.
I just think
Carol was on Dancing with the Stars. That was pretty wild.
Yeah, I actually did. You know that already? I remember seeing it pop up. I remember seeing it pop up back when she got announced on it. Yeah, it's weird, eh? So they're just fully just proceeds of crime.
And they were.
I wonder if that's another reason why she couldn't go on this. Maybe she just signed to the network, whatever Dancing with the Stars on. Maybe that would tarnish
maybe
the show's image, so to speak.
Maybe.
So if
I love that they were like,
we'll give you money if you sign on for us and Dancing with the Stars. You can't do anything else with Tiger King. Maybe.
Yeah, possibly. I love that like Dancing with the Stars were clearly just mocking her with the outfits and everything they had her doing. I'm like,
so cringe, man.
Do you not see that they're laughing at you? They're not laughing with you right now.
It's just America in a nutshell, I think. Like if what's a show that you could show people, like an Australian TV show, and like, hey, there you go, this is Australia. What's like an accurate TV show that's just typically Australian?
You've either got like Steve Irwin, that's Crocodile Hunter, that's clearly like the crazy outback Australia.
Like if you want to explain Australia, like everyday Australian life, if you want to explain to someone, what would you show them?
I think you're either showing them Howzos, Kath and Kim,
bro. Yeah, Kath and Kim. Yeah, that's something you've actually nailed out. Yeah, that's pretty good. But
I
then
feel like those shows.
If you want to know what America's like, here's Tiger King.
Yeah. Kath and Kim, Fat Pizza, and Howzos. I think they sum up the majority of
that is
Australian.
Honestly, I just mentioned Summer Heights High. Summer Heights High is so accurate to school life in Australia.
Yeah,
like so accurate.
I think in like maybe 10, 15 years ago, you probably could have shown someone Neighbours or Home and Away,
Pack to the
and it would have
Rafters or
been
something.
accurate. But like Neighbours and Home and Away now are so like outlandish and ridiculous that I don't feel like they show Australia that well.
I actually used to watch a bit of Neighbours back when it was like really good, like early high school.
The old
Like,
Toadfish days.
15 years ago. Yeah, like 15 years ago, it was good Neighbours. Margot Robbie days even. But I don't, is it even on now? Is it still on?
I don't think it's
Home and Away
on. I think it's on like one of the digital channels. Like it's not on the main 10 channel.
Yeah, I don't think it's on TV. But I see ads for Home and Away on TV. It looks so bad. It just looks so far-fetched. Everything is OTT.
Every week someone's like blowing up the diner or murdering someone. It's like,
or there's like a car flipping over.
Towns.
No. Yeah, it's just out of control. But I was
Catherine Kim and
right
Fat Pizza.
Yeah. No, you've nailed that.
Yeah, so like with Tiger King 2, I would say it's not like totally necessary to watch it if you enjoyed season 1, but yeah, if you really did enjoy season 1, I think you're not going to be disappointed with season 2.
Yeah, I thought it was a perfect follow-up. Like you definitely wouldn't be disappointed watching it.
Yeah, I just don't think it would
like I said, if I could pull
the same heights.
It could be a bit, you could find it a bit boring and it's sort of one you got to pay a bit of attention to. If you pick your phone up for 2 minutes and I reckon you've ruined the episode because it's hard to get back into it. You just got to pay attention to it.
Yeah, it's definitely not going to be like that cultural phenomenon or viral hit that season 1 was.
No, but it's an essential. If you're into season 1, it's an essential follow-up. You got to watch season 2. It's crucial.
Yep.
But another thing too, I'm thinking, well, is Joe out of prison? Like, surely I would have known about it, and like stuff like that, big things that you're waiting to happen in number 2. Like, well, I probably would have known about it already. I would have heard about it, like seen articles. So, I'm not necessarily there's not gonna be any groundbreaking like breakthroughs here for me.
No, there was nothing about them. Nothing
like you're not gonna like they're not gonna announce Joe out of prison and like reveal the footage on the show now, are they? Because we just know about it already.
Yeah, he's definitely still in prison. So
actually, I was very interested in how that much effort they went to get pardoned by Trump. That was pretty cool. How they showed all that. And
yeah, they didn't get the greatest reception at the rally, though, did they?
It was yeah, well, it's a bit rich from a Trump supporter calling out these Joe Exotic people.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see, like, I feel like a season 3 won't happen until
he's out. Yeah,
there is some sort of resolution in his case.
It wouldn't be worth it because then people probably disappointed watching season 2 that they didn't see that he got out. Yeah, you can't. I don't think they can sustain the popularity if they do another number 3 and like Joe's not in it, or if there's just a few prison interviews again. The ratings will be down big time.
Yeah, season 3 has to be him either out or the conviction has been upheld and he's just
maybe Kim Kardashian can get him pardoned or get him released. She seems pretty good at that these days.
Isn't she dating like Pete Davidson now?
Yeah, that's iconic.
What the heck is going on?
I don't know. I just don't know anymore.
Like, Pete Davidson's a weird looking dude, but good on him.
I reckon if you or me had a love child, it'd be Pete Davidson.
Probably.
That's too much. That's enough Pete Davidson for a Monday.
Yep. Speaking of other controversial figures, I watched the new Netflix series Colin in Black and White. Have you had a chance to check it out?
Have not. He's one of those people I just can't stand.
Not a fan of Colin Kaepernick?
No, not a fan.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So yeah, like it's a 6-episode.
Yeah, fill me in.
Mini.
I thought they were originally doing a movie.
Yeah, like the ad kind of makes it look like that, but yeah, it's a 6-episode mini series, and it sort of is a dramatization of Colin Kaepernick's childhood and sort of the events that sort of made him become the like activist person that he sort of is at the
Yep.
moment. Each episode's about half an hour, and yeah, it just goes through him as a high school kid playing all three sports: baseball, basketball, football, getting a crazy amount of scholarship offers to be a college baseball player,
Yep.
but him just being determined to be, no, I want to play college football as a quarterback. And then all the sort of racism elements that come into that. So, like, I enjoyed it for what it was, but also
Yeah.
it leans pretty heavily into those racial
Politics.
injustice issues. And
Yeah. It's sort of what you reckon it lost touch of the point?
it
Whatever the
just
point of it
became
is.
at points it becomes very preachy.
Yeah.
And rather than just posing, here's an event, here's what happened, it's pretty obviously a racist encounter.
Yeah.
Let the viewer make up their mind. It's like very like, no, this is why, and goes into the background of everything. It's like, yeah, probably a little bit too full on with getting your point across. So like I felt like it struggled between, are we a drama series that's just posing these questions at you and making you rethink your own interactions with African American or Black people? But like, so am I a drama? But then other times it's like, no, I'm trying to be like a documentary and inform you on the history and all the politics that lead up to these events. And it's like,
yeah.
So where are we falling here? It's kind of 50-50. It doesn't really hit the mark that I think it should have. Where if they'd just gone full drama, I feel like it would have been much more effective.
Yeah. So just overtaken the whole thing with, but then again, though, that's what his whole life has been for the last 5 years. He's just completely lost touch with the thing, and he's just ran with it, so to speak. I don't know. Has it got much football in it? So you'd be disappointed if you went watch it. You want a bit of sport.
Oh yeah, if you're watching this to see high school football or college football, like a Friday Night Lights, not gonna happen. It's all like,
would you say it's like
his life
30 for 30
outside.
vibe or not? Whole life outside of football, yeah. No, not even at
like
all.
Kind of like that 70s show type thing, but obviously not the 70s.
Really?
So it's all like him at school and him
so it's
just in the town and stuff.
So it's not reality, it's actual fiction drama series, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, so it's like it's a fiction drama series, but
based off his real life.
Based off his life and interactions that he had.
Yeah, right. I thought I was thinking as a documentary series.
No, that's the problem, where it's like at points it feels like a documentary, and at other points it feels like a drama series, and you're like, where are we falling here?
Yeah, right.
So like, I enjoyed it for what it was, and as an NFL fan, I was like, yeah, this is really cool. But then, as someone that wanted to sort of know more about Colin Kaepernick, it was just like,
yeah, that's fair.
This could just be any dude.
Yeah, right. No, No, I was thinking of another thing. I don't know. I don't know if it's out or not. Did he put some? Maybe it was like Nike were putting it out, like a documentary about everything that's happened.
I think they put out like a mini doc, like a 10 or 15 minute.
Yeah,
YouTube
maybe that's
thing,
maybe that's the one I'm thinking of a few years ago. Yeah, that's what got mixed up. I know you're doing this series, the one you just watched.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see if they like do a season 2, because it finishes this one is all about him at high school and trying to get that college scholarship. And then it finishes right as he finally achieves that and then goes to college. So I'm interested to see if they come back and do a season 2 on his college experience, and then maybe a season 3 on his NFL experience.
Do you think maybe it's sort of been written in a way that he wished was brought up, and the way he sort of wanted things to go?
No, like it seems to be pretty faithful to what happened.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, as a black child adopted by white parents in Wisconsin, he's going to come in contact with some pretty harsh moments and racist things. But I was like, just seeing like some of the things that his adoptive parents said to him, I was like, geez, like you adopted a black kid. You can't say stuff like that.
Yeah.
So like interesting. And I think
it does sound actually it's intriguing.
I think like because it was only 6 episodes, like it's not a huge investment for people to watch, especially when they're only half hour.
I've decided.
And
6 is just the perfect length for a series.
Because you can knock it out really quickly, it felt like a really good test bed for, hey, if this is successful, we can come back and do season 2 and season 3.
A whole pilot series.
Maybe. Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting to see.
There's some good stuff on Netflix at the moment. I think this is the perfect time of year for it. They're just knocking everything over before end of the year.
Oh yeah, heaps of stuff coming out now.
It's so good, hey. What else? I finally started watching The Haunting of Hill House. I'm like 3 episodes in, I think.
Oh yeah,
I feel like
so far?
Yeah, it's sick. It's because I watched Blind Manor first, like a year ago. But did I have to watch Hill House first before Blind Manor?
No, they don't tie into each other, but they've got the same actors.
Same characters. I know, that's what sort of confused me a bit. Like, hang on, is this some sort of a sequel?
No, like they're totally different characters. It's just the same actors. So that's where it gets confusing.
The people, producers or writers from this series, they've just put something new out, didn't they? There's a movie out on Netflix.
It's another series. What's it called? I just watched it.
Did ya? It's on the homepage. I noticed it.
It was
Nettie's here.
What the heck is it called? Midnight Mass.
Oh, is it Midnight Mass? Yeah. Actually, yeah, that's it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the director that's his 3rd series.
Yeah. No, sorry. Yeah.
But yeah,
I still think that's sort of. I mean to watch Midnight Mass, but that's sort of when I seen that, I was like, oh, maybe I actually will sort of pull my finger and watch it.
Yeah, no, I still think Hill House was the best of the 3 series so far, but yeah.
Yeah.
Have you? I don't think you've got up to the really good episode yet, so I won't spoil it.
There's a really good episode, is there?
Yeah, there's one episode that's just crazy in terms of the story and the production value. It's all one camera shot the whole time.
Really? Do you know what episode it is?
I think it's like 6, and it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, right. Cool. Okay.
And now, a quick word from our sponsors. First up is Maison de Femmes. They are an online jewelry boutique dedicated to the lovers, mystics, and dreamers. They sell exquisite gold-filled jewelry that can be worn as everyday basics or stunning statement pieces. With Christmas fast approaching, a Maison de Femmes piece may be just the thing for that special someone in your life. Check them out at maisondefemme.com. If you want a night filled with crazy stories and a ton of laughs, then Sam Wade's upcoming Sydney Comedy Festival show Mind Cave is not to be missed. Check it out at the Factory Theatre from November 4 and November 6th. And finally, if you're in need of a new logo, event poster, Twitch overlays or emotes, or any type of merchandise designs, then look no further than LF9 Design for all of your graphic design needs. The team at LF9 Design can create anything you need to suit all styles and budgets. Check them out on Instagram at LF9 Design. On the sort of cultural divide thing with Colin in black and white, you were watching another.
Yes, I do have something. Passing, it's called. So it's basically it's black and white film. I'm assuming filmed in black and white. It's a new one on Netflix, set in the 1920s in, I want to say, New York. Is it New York or Chicago? One of the two. So it's basically about it's. It used to be. I think it used to be. I did some research. And it used to be big back then. It's like it's the term called passing, which means basically, passing was a term used to describe by African Americans that could pass as white, we'll say.
Okay.
Which is weird. Yeah, and then they sort of could fit into white society. And so this girl, and I like old school friend, she runs into her in the city, and since she sort of like left everyone at her hometown, and she got like married this like rich white man, and like she's like a black lady that like passes for white, and she like fits into like white society and all that, and it's basically, and she hates her new life with like her new white life, we'll say. Then she just starts hanging out with her like black school friend again, and like all the like the black community, and a lot of drama involved and all that, and she's doing it behind her husband's back. Then the husband sort of like catches on to what she's doing. Like every time he goes away for work, she'll like go hang out with like all the black people again, and like she just says she misses all that life. And it's basically him, and he tracks her down at like this party. Then drama ensues. Yeah, it was really good. It did feel like a feature length short film,
okay,
so to speak. Like, I don't know how to explain it. If you watch like a short film, like 20 minutes of, I don't know, it was the first time I've ever watched something that it felt like that. I don't know, it's weird to explain. Like it could even be like a very long episode of a TV show too. Not saying it was boring, but it definitely wasn't. It was very
like very artsy and like an art piece.
Yeah, it was a bit like that, but also it was filmed in a way that it made you a bit anxious and on edge. So, which is a good feeling to have when you watch movies like, Uncut Gems, that sort of vibe, and like Good Time. Like you kept wondering what's going to happen next. Like nothing was clear, and like anything sort of could have happened. And it's a good feeling to have, I think, watching movies, being on edge and a bit anxious and like not having any idea what's going to happen next. And that's sort of what the vibe was through this.
I guess with that story that they're trying to tell, like that fits as well, where she's obviously not feeling all too comfortable in the environment that she's in all the time.
That's a perfect way of putting it. So it makes the viewer a little bit uncomfortable as well, and just the way that black people got treated and spoken down to back in those days, like the early 1900s.
Yep. Who's in that movie?
Put you in there. And so Irene is the main black character. It's played by Tessa Thompson. And her friend Claire, which is the one that passes for white, she's played by Ruth Negga. Yeah, but I think Tessa Thompson did ring a bell.
Yeah, Tessa Thompson, I know. I don't know what she's been in.
Yeah.
But I do know her. I did see the picture of her and I was like, I know her. What's she from?
Yeah. But other than that, I didn't really recognize anyone. But yeah, black and white movies are hit and miss, aren't they? They're either, because I think they're a bit hard to watch and hard to pay attention to, so to speak, because we're just so spoiled with color these days. But unless it's like a really interesting movie, you can definitely lose interest in it quickly. And I just want to turn it off. It's easy to just not be captivated by it.
I wonder if they did that purely to show the contrast between the black and white characters.
Yeah, I was thinking that too, because obviously, I don't know, there's obviously more reason behind it, but there's a black character that's white. Does that make sense? But I think you would have been able to tell the difference a lot better in most circumstances if it was in color.
Yeah,
that definitely did help with the storyline. But yeah, I wonder what the reason was for it being filmed in black and white. I wasn't mad. I reckon it definitely made the movie a lot better. It wouldn't have been as powerful, we'll say, if it was in color. Yep. I think it would have been a little less of an appeal. I think the fact that it is in black and white sort of just adds to everything that's going on.
So do you reckon it's worth people checking out if they're
for sure
scrolling around Netflix?
Yeah, definitely. It's just something different that you wouldn't normally watch. Like I said, it's got the vibe of a 90-minute short film or mini movie. It's in black and white, and it is one of that sort of, you don't want to really take your eyes off and you don't really know what's going to happen next.
Right.
Yeah, it's a good little one for sure. But yeah, like I said, black and white movies are hit and miss, and they're not everyone's cup of tea.
Oh yeah, definitely not.
So I remember when you used to put the TV on after school as a kid, and there'd be like a black and white TV show or movie or something on, you just couldn't change it quick enough. Like, there's nothing more boring as a kid than black and white. Like, what is this tripe? But yeah, I think they film most things in black and white too, don't they? With a black and white camera. I don't think they edit them into black and white.
Yeah, most if that is the idea behind, like, they want to do a black and white film, they usually film.
Yeah, I think that's filmed in black and white.
Because when you color grade it to be black and white, it can introduce all sorts of weird artifacts and issues.
Yeah, especially with film, I suppose it's a bit different with photography, where you just edit a still image, whereas like moving and different light bouncing off here and there.
Yeah, it'd be a nightmare to grade. So you're just like, let's just film it in black and white.
Yeah, well, I'd seen the trailer for this one pop up on YouTube a couple months ago. And yeah, just all of a sudden realised that it came out. So I gave it a watch, and yeah, it was good. Good little one. Like I said, something different.
So yeah, you watched, how long was that one? Like 90 minutes, did you say?
Yeah, about 90, yeah.
All right. So yeah, you watched a short movie. I watched two incredibly long movies.
What'd you watch?
The first one was on Netflix, and it's the new one starring Ryan Reynolds, Dwayne Johnson, and Gal Gadot, called Red Notice.
I tried everything in my power to watch this. I'm notoriously not a fan of Ryan Reynolds. I don't know. I know he's just like a great bloke, and his humor. I don't know. There's something about it. Like, I'm not the biggest into funny movies and that, and like childish movies. But there's something about Ryan Reynolds. He's just a bit too silly for me. He's serious. Okay. I don't know, man. But the fact that Gal Gadot was in it, really, like, I was really torn. I was like, damn it, I really want to watch it. But then The Rock was in it, so I was like, nah, stuff it.
Yeah, it was a 1 out of 3, so not enough to get you over the line.
Yeah. I watched the trailer 3 times. It's like, God damn it, I want to watch this, but I don't.
Yeah, if you're not a Ryan Reynolds fan, I would probably skip this one because he's in it.
He's a bit much, isn't he? Is he very Ryan Reynolds in it?
All three of them are just exactly what you expect from their characters. So Dwayne Johnson plays an FBI agent who's trying to hunt down and capture the world's most wanted art thief, who is Ryan Reynolds. And then along the way, they have to, this unlikely pairing, have to join forces to then hunt down another notorious criminal, Gal Gadot. And it's like this weird buddy cop flick where all three of them just play the character that like they're most famous for. So The Rock is just like the muscular action hero that's just like beating people up and bursting through walls and stuff like that.
Very, very Rock.
Very Rock, very like Fast and the Furious. Then you get Ryan Reynolds, who's just playing the like dude with all the quick punchlines and smart aleck comments and just constantly making bumbling errors, sort of very much like Deadpool. So he's just, that Deadpool character took off and he's like, yep, sweet, I'm just doing that in every movie now. So he's doing that. And then Gal plays like this strong, powerful woman who just like uses her beauty at time to take charge and win over the men that are around her. And yeah, she's just playing Wonder Woman, but without superpowers. So I was like, okay, whatever, I'm in. I'm not expecting this movie to be like,
yeah, I won't complain.
it's definitely not going to be like a Best Picture nominee or anything, but for the hour and 50 minutes or whatever it is, it's a pretty fun movie. Like, they probably could have cut a little bit out of the middle where.
That's what I mean. I'll watch a trailer like this. Looks very fun, but it looks way too silly for me.
Yeah, like,
I'm just not
and because they're on this like, they're on these weird like art heists and sort of trying to capture like find and steal these things. It's like at 2 hours, I was like, this is a bit long. Like, we probably could have cut out a couple of these in the middle that end up just being red herrings, where they go through all this effort to achieve this thing, and then they get there and the thing that they're trying to get is not actually there. It's just like a clue to the next part. It's like, yeah, we probably could have just cut a couple of these out. Like we didn't need 3 or 4 red herring moments.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Cool, but yeah, not great. Like I think it was like a perfect Netflix film though. Like if I'd paid to see it in the
Santiago.
cinema, I'd have been annoyed.
Yeah.
But
Santiago
watching it at
Neves
home
moment.
on Netflix, especially with the weather we had over the
Guilt-free.
weekend, like sweet.
Oh my God, isn't it crap? I watched my car today, so you can 100% expect it to rain tonight.
Yeah, it's meant to rain all week, so Great
I'm
fun.
just fed up with it. Grass is growing too quick too.
oh yeah. And then you can't cut it because it's like soggy and wet. It's great.
It's a slippery slope.
And then yeah, like I was doing some research on this Red Notice movie. It's produced by the Rock's production company, Seven Bucks Productions.
Mm-hmm.
Was originally meant to be a Universal Pictures release, but then obviously the pandemic got in the way and they had to change plans, and Netflix acquired the rights. So
Huge.
good on them. They picked
as
up a
they
perfect
do.
one for the platform.
Yeah, it seems perfect for Netflix.
And it's performing really well. It was the most watched film over its debut weekend on Netflix.
I'm not even surprised with lead actor lineup like that.
Those 3 lead actors are like, oh yeah, there's a lot of people going to watch
People
this.
love it. I don't know. What would you say is the most popular film genre in the world?
Ooh.
Would it be comedy? Action?
Probably,
maybe?
I think. Yeah, like.
What do you do? We? I don't know.
I would think it'd be comedy or action, but like, I think like the Fast and Furious ones, they're right up there. The Marvel ones.
Are they
they're
action
huge.
or are they like action comedy? I haven't watched one in years. Are they a bit funny now? The Fast and Furious.
The Fast and Furious.
I can't believe how popular Fast and Furious still is.
They're
Like,
basically
people still watch
superhero
the new
movies
ones?
now.
Yeah,
They're
it's
basically
unbelievable.
superhero movies. Like, they went to space in the last one.
I think the last one I watched is maybe number 3. So the one after Tokyo Drift. No, well, Tokyo Drift was number 3. So maybe the one after Tokyo Drift is number 4. Maybe I didn't even watch that. I can't remember. But I'd watched enough by then. I was satisfied. I don't want to undo it all.
They're still enjoyable.
They went to space. What did you say? They went to space in the latest one?
Oh, yeah.
You're kidding.
They strapped a rocket to a car and flew it to space.
No way. That's it. I'm done. I'm done with that franchise.
They're insane now.
Then you go back and watch like the original Triple X, and you're just like, this is a real movie.
Oh, like the original Fast and Furious was like so grounded and just based in reality, and now they're just ridiculous, off the wall.
Yeah, I'm not missing much. Who's in it? The Rock. Well, the Rock's in them now. So is Vin Diesel still in them?
Yeah, Rock, Vin Diesel, Jason Statham.
What? Really?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, like ridiculous cast now. Everyone's in it now.
Who I actually seen it on Sunrise. Someone wants to be James Bond.
Yeah, The Rock.
There was some. Is it The Rock? Yeah, it was The Rock.
He wants to be the next James Bond. I'm like, no. Not happening. Not a chance.
Like, I know Daniel Craig is he was like, they're definitely the hunkiest and most like jacked, so to speak, Bond ever. It's not really a typical nasty guy role like what like Statham would play in like a transport movie. It's just a bit of a British sleazebag sort of vibe. Like Daniel Craig is like on the like the verge.
But like, yeah, and Daniel Craig, you can get away with him. Like, yeah, he's a spy. Like, he's kind of just the everyman. Whereas if The Rock is a spy, they're gonna notice. Like, he's a giant human being,
and he's not even British. So the conversation ends there. It would never happen. Idris, I reckon Idris Elba is a live possibility, but then again, he's not really, because he's just a big Jack boy as well, isn't he?
Yeah, not overly, but yeah, like I think he's the best option that they have at the moment.
I would honestly
pull someone completely unknown out of the water.
I would like to see a female Bond at some stage. That would be really cool, I reckon.
Yep, it'd be a cool spin on it.
Yeah,
and it would get them out of the bad books of like it's just a misogynist character.
I always want to see Hugh Grant as a Bond.
That'd be interesting. especially now that he's a bit older. And
yeah, he's not really tied to one particular franchise or role, is he? Like, I always think of Bridget Jones' Diary when I think of him, but
yep.
people don't really associate that. There's some OG movies, or even Love Actually. No, he's probably more prominent for Love Actually, isn't he? I reckon.
Yeah.
Prime Minister. Yeah, a bit of Hugh Grant, that'd be good.
And then like just to close out Red Notice, they're currently in production process for 2 sequels, which they're planning to film back to back. Yep. And in the movie, there's a sequence. Yeah, I guess. But if it was the most popular movie over the opening weekend, they'd be silly not to just make more.
Money and run.
But it's costing them a lot. Apparently, the 3 main actors cost over $20 million each.
Oh, yeah.
So there's $60 million just in 3 actors.
Those people make money, eh?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And then the cool part about the movie that I noticed, you see throughout there, Dwayne Johnson and Ryan Reynolds are both seen drinking spirits, and they're both drinking the spirits that they own. So,
oh really?
The Rock drinking Terramana tequila.
Product placement.
Ryan Reynolds is drinking Aviation gin. It's like, oh yeah, nice little sneaky product branding placement in there.
Yeah, right.
And then there's a cool part in there as well where they go to a party and The Rock hands over an invitation with a QR code on it. And if you pause it, that QR code works and takes you to an unlisted YouTube video of just the bloopers.
Oh my God. What a world.
So I was like, oh, that's cool. Like,
that is cool.
Everybody knows how to use QR codes now, so it worked out pretty well.
Yeah, that's funny. Oh, that's pretty cool. They should have had like a link to their online store for their alcohol or something. Imagine that.
Oh, they'd get in so much trouble for that though.
Oh yeah,
kids buying alcohol.
Oh yeah, imagine.
And then the last movie I watched was another Dwayne Johnson joint. It's the 2021 fantasy adventure film Jungle Cruise with Dwayne Johnson, Emily Blunt, and Jack Whitehall, which for me is like the weirdest movie because it's based on a Disney World ride rather than a ride based on a movie.
Yeah, this does ring a bell now.
Like normally you go the other way. You make the movie and then you're like, oh, that was popular. Let's make a ride at Disney. No, this one they had the
Jumanji vibes. I didn't watch it, but just looking at the trailer.
Yep, very similar. So,
like, why wasn't Kevin Hart in it? These people don't sleep, do they? Like The Rock.
The Rock doesn't. The Rock is a madman. He's like up at 3 or 4 in the morning to train, and then he works all day, and then goes to bed at like 11. I'm like, what are you doing?
He must just be filming like 4 movies at a time. He's in everything.
Yeah, he's constantly doing something, and then
he's so sought after as well. Like,
he's got his alcohol, he's got his energy drinks, he's got his shoes and
his workout gear too, eh?
From the looks of it, he's about to return to WWE. Like,
yeah, really.
Dude's all over the shop.
Whatever. He must be worth a bomb.
Oh yeah. So yeah, like Jungle Cruise, they kind of rushed this one to Disney Plus. It did come out in cinemas for a little bit, but obviously the pandemic got in the way. So for Disney Plus Day a couple of weeks ago, they're like, yep, sweet, let's push it out make it free on the platform. So that's how I watched it. And it's all about this captain of the riverboat, played by Dwayne Johnson, who leads Emily Blunt, who's a scientist, and her brother through the Amazon to try and find this mythical tree of life, and features all the sort of dangers of an Amazon jungle with wild animals, the lost headhunter tribes, and just the danger of being lost in the Amazon on one of the random rivers that are there. But then it also injects like this weird supernatural element where, like you said, kind of felt like Jumanji, Pirates of the Caribbean type thing. And like another fun, silly one with some of the worst dad joke pun moments. I was like,
I'm not surprised.
like that first half hour is basically just The Rock just dropping terrible puns the whole time. And
Yeah, that's
again,
what I like.
this one's like 2 hours and 10 minutes or something. Definitely needed to be cut back a bit. Like
That's
really
so
long
much.
movie.
That's too much Rock. So you've watched what, 4 hours of
4
Rock?
hours of The Rock.
That's too much Rock for anyone.
And then when I was reading it, this is apparently one of the most expensive movies ever made, with a $200 million budget.
What do you mean? Was that was a half of that just Rock's wage though?
Probably between The Rock, Emily Blunt, and Jack Whitehall, there was probably a good chunk of change. And then there's
who's
a
Jack
ton of
Whitehall? I know the
CGI
name.
in it.
What's he in? I know the
British comedian.
I don't know. Definitely know the name. We have visitors here.
Mate. It's funny. But like they made their money back, which is crazy. They got just in that
does that
limited run. In the limited run with the box office, and they were also on Disney Premier Access. They made $217 million.
Do they? So when movies get released now, like obviously historically, it's from box office ticket sales and whatnot. These days with streaming movies, is it they rely on the Netflix buying the rights to it, or how does it work? Like the streaming numbers, can you make money off streaming numbers?
So with this one specifically, because it did it was in the cinema, so they got box office revenue. And then when it was initially put on Disney Plus at the same time, it was the Premier Access, where I think it was like $30 to rent or purchase. So they would have got money from that. And then because Disney owns Disney Plus, they probably don't make any extra money out of it. But like with Red Notice, they would have got a lump sum payment from Netflix, and then Netflix just rely on, let's put out this big movie. Who cares what it cost us? Let's hope that brings in X amount of new subscribers or gets people to renew their subscription and stay on.
Yeah, I was going to say, hard to think there's that many people out there who don't have Netflix. Or then again, though, how many, you can have a Netflix account, then add like 3 or 4 other accounts to it. So there's essentially only one person with an account in every 4 people, so to speak. But yeah, like you said, there'd be people cancelling and resubscribing all the time. You think, like, oh, there's nothing good. Been on Netflix for 3 months, I'll cancel it, and stuff starts getting released again, like popular things like Tiger King and whatnot. Then people are like, oh yeah, I'll subscribe again.
Yeah, I think that's what they rely on. Just like, and then they have those people like me that just have it the entire time and just don't.
Yeah,
it's a set and forget thing. Like I get Netflix and then I just don't even think about it ever again.
I can't imagine why you wouldn't want it. Same as Spotify.
They're kind of one of those things where you need it there all the time now. Like at least if it's there and I want to watch something, I can. Whereas I'd hate to be like, oh, I don't have Netflix this month. I got to wait to get it again. Like, just set and forget, and then they just suck in that money every month and then put it into the Rock's pocket.
The Rock's pockets. Give some to the rest of us, mate. Imagine what he earn if he went back to wrestling. Like they would just throw the book at him, I reckon. Empty check.
I guarantee this.
The money they would make off that though, because what WWE only to watch it, you got to have a subscription.
Or it's on Foxtel.
Oh, is it? Oh.
But like to watch the pay-per-views, you have to have their subscription.
Yeah.
So and like with AEW coming up and really pushing them in terms of pay-per-view numbers and ratings on TV.
Yeah.
Pretty sure Vince is throwing boatloads of cash at The Rock to get him to come back and give them a nice little bump leading into WrestleMania season this year.
Yeah, I can't see why it wouldn't happen. He's just so popular still, isn't he?
Oh yeah, and like there's a pay-per-view on at the moment, Survivor Series, and from what I'm hearing, the whole show has been sponsored by Red Notice. They've even got like the eggs and stuff that they're trying to find in the movie on the pay-per-view. They're constantly hyping up like, oh, maybe The Rock coming back, The Rock, without ever actually having him pop up. So probably by the time we get off here, he'll have debuted back on there. And yeah, The Rock versus Roman Reigns, who's like his nephew or cousin or something. So
yeah,
that'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, it'll break the internet regardless.
Like last week, I was talking to Buddy about AEW and their most recent pay-per-view, Full Gear, and the like jump in buys that they had. I think it was up like 70 or 80% on last year. So like, and it's now their most purchased pay-per-view of all time. So
yeah,
they're on the up, and it's forcing Vince to make changes and bring back people like The Rock to come back and fight them off.
It's the same with absolutely everything in life. People just love nostalgia. It's such a strange feeling, no matter what it is. Like, I don't know. Everything has everyone just wants nostalgia and that feeling of like something they felt when they were growing up, or no matter what it is.
Yeah, I think that's where AEW succeeded. Like, it's AEW is like fresh new talent.
Yeah,
but it feels very much like
you're gonna hate me for just saying that bloke. What's his name? Oh, CM Punk.
Oh yeah, yep, yeah. So like it's a lot of fresh new talent, but it feels like the old Attitude Era WCW versus WWF days. So like it has that nostalgia feel, but with fresh new guys and new stories and things like that.
Yeah, nostalgia is a unique feeling in the human body.
Mm-hmm.
Love it. That's why I watch so many same movies over and over again.
Yeah. So that's pretty much everything for the week. What would be your top recommendation?
Well, I didn't get a chance to talk about it, but Adele just dropped a new album on Friday. It's called 30, and it's very good. I want people to listen to it. Yeah, I've listened to Adele's new album 30. It's got honestly big Christmas vibes about it. Like all the songs sound like you can honestly double check like 3 or 4 times while you listen to it. Like, you sure this is not a Christmas album? None of the titles got anything to do with Christmas, but none of the lyrics got anything to do with Christmas. It just feels like a Christmas album without it being a Christmas album. So like the thing with like Christmas songs like Mariah Carey and Alicia Keys and whatnot. You're like, yeah, you love them, but you hate them because they're like Christmas themed.
Every time they're played is Christmas, and then they're just on constant rotation.
You just hate it. But I think this Adele album has got those vibes without it being Christmas themed. It's just bangs.
Interesting. So, I did not take you as an Adele fan at all.
Yeah, I love it, bro. I love Adele, big time. I'm banging into her.
Wow. Okay.
This hits the spot, man. Yeah, I've been hanging for this record to drop. Now I'm happy with it. So I'll be giving it a big bump over the next couple of months. Like I said, I'm not a very Christmas person, but a bit of a Grinch. But I'll definitely be playing a bit of Adele's unofficial Christmas record over Christmas. It's been released at the right time.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And yeah, like we've got our Christmas episode coming up, and I think we've decided on watching the new Home Alone and designing our own individualized
Home Alone got me traps. Thinking, it's going to get the brain working that one.
I've got some ideas for mine that will kill someone.
Somewhat.
They're going to kill someone.
Have to keep it somewhat G-rated.
Yep.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. Bit of fun.
So yeah, for me, my top recommendation is Red Notice.
Yeah. I was easy going to say it.
It's stupid. It's a silly movie, but like it does everything you expect from a Gal Gadot, Ryan Reynolds, Dwayne Johnson movie.
Oh, that's right. When I was saying this is going to be so typical. Yeah, that's the main thing. As long as we giggle and have fun.
Alrighty, that is everything. Thank you for listening to the commentary booth. If you enjoyed the show, please remember to rate, review, and subscribe on podcast services, YouTube, and twitch.tv/JamieUpsMedia. You can follow me on social media at Jamie Ups Media, and you can follow Blake on Twitter at Captain Crumbs with a Z. The Commentary Booth is a fan-funded production of Jamie Ups Media. You can support the podcast alongside our magazine, Pario Magazine, on Patreon at patreon.com/Jamie Ups Media. The following people supported at the community support group level or higher, and you cannot fathom how incredibly appreciative we are for their support. Blake Robinson, Brian and June Hart, Courtney Paulson, Jackson Carr, and Tracy Apps. Alrighty. Thanks, Blake. Let you get to it, and I will catch you in a few weeks.
Yeah, bro. Talk to ya.